Hi, welcome to Super Scary.
How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Good.
How you feel?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
This is episode number 3,
Trace.
right?
Yeah.
Trace. Episode number Trace, and we're going to be talking about Night of the Comet.
Yeah.
Our very first request.
Already, episode 3, we got a request, so that's kind of cool.
And as you can see, we're on top of things. If you request something,
We got you.
it's in the top of the queue.
Boom, right here. We already did it.
So, Night of the Comet. Many say it's a classic, cult classic. 1984 is when it was released,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it was directed by one Tom Eberhardt, starring
Starring Catherine Mary Stewart as Reg, or Regina,
or Reggie.
or Reggie. She goes by many names in the film. And also Kelly Maroney as Samantha, and they are sisters in the film. Even though they look nothing alike, in my opinion.
No, they do not look anything alike. But I guess that helps to differentiate them.
Yeah.
It sort
Sure.
of hammers home the fact they're very different characters.
But I thought it was odd, though, just that they look absolutely nothing alike, but then Sam looks just like Doris, their stepmother.
Yeah,
I thought that was just a little weird.
yeah. Sam, actually, is the inspiration for one of your favorite fictional characters.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I do want to establish, by the way, real quick, Nick did a lot of research on this film in preparation for this video. I just watched the movie.
That's okay.
But, so he told me that earlier today, and yes, that is awesome, and I can totally see it too. Especially the Buffy for the movie, because Sam is such like a little Valley Girl character.
Quite
and
so.
That personality kind of transfers into the film version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
The actress who played Sam, she was actually featured in an episode of Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job.
Great job.
Season 5, episode 3. She was in a segment with Patrick Duffy where he was basically trying to sell a new product called Patrick Duffy's Man Nip. Kind of like catnip, but for men.
All right.
So,
well, what did you think of the film overall?
I would say that it was a positive viewing experience for me. I liked it, but it did not live up to, I guess, what my expectations were for several reasons.
Yeah, I agree. The film's giving kind of this cult classic status, and I was expecting something a lot more fun. It was still kind of a fun ride. I mean, the characters are great. I think Reggie is super cool.
Very cool, very ahead of her time.
Yeah.
You know, this is the 80s. You don't have hashtag gamer girl at that point.
Yeah.
But she plays arcade games.
She's got like all the top scores on Tempest.
Yeah.
Like literally every single one. There's like a moment, just a fun moment in the film where somebody has beaten her 6th best score. And she goes through and like intentionally gets the 6th best score just to get his name off the board. And I thought that was really cool. You know, she works in a movie theater.
She references Superman when she's lying down with her, I guess, fuckboy.
Yeah, he is kind of just a fuckboy.
Because he's not her boyfriend. And he kind of looks like Tim from Tim and Eric.
Yeah, a little bit.
Kind of looks like Tim Heidecker. But yeah, she's a really cool character.
Yeah, I really liked her a lot. I felt like, for me, overall, the film didn't necessarily live up to its cult classic status. I mean, I can see it, and I feel like you enjoyed the film a little bit more than I did. There's a lot of things that I liked, a lot of things that we've talked about that I agree with. Like, the characters are great. Especially Reggie and Sam have a really good back and forth, and they're really great, like, heroine characters,
Yeah.
you know? And, I think the story was kind of like, all right, it was a little bit unique with a giant comet passing by the Earth, and I guess they never quite say it, but the radiation from the comet literally just kills everyone watching it, turns them into dust.
Red dust, piles of red dust. it's kind of a unique and cool take on like the apocalypse.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's a little different. And then, but if you didn't watch the Comet or you had some sort of protection, particularly steel that they highlight, then the effects, you were either unaffected or the effects were majorly slowed down. And in the case that the effects are slowed down, you kind of become a zombie-ish character.
Kind of, yeah.
And so I think the film has a little bit of a reputation as a zombie film. Like, he gets thrown in with other classic zombie films.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
in my
unfortunately.
opinion, to the, I don't know, I guess to the detriment of this movie, because the vision that the director, Eberhardt, had was for it to be more of just a post-apocalyptic movie, and I think the zombies are just kind of afterthoughts.
Definitely, because there's not even that many in the whole film.
No, the ones that are there look great, though.
Yeah.
I really like the makeup, and it kind of makes me wish that they would have either had more zombies or none at all.
And, the other thing is, like, at the beginning of the film when the first zombie appears, and Reggie talks to it, and it talks back, I was like, oh, this is going to be some unique film where, like, all of the zombies, like, talk. And then there's literally only one other scene with a talking zombie. Like...
And I guess the reason that they're talking is because they're people who are just dying
exactly.
slowly.
Yeah.
Their bodies kind of withering away due to the radiation, so they look very zombie-ish.
Yeah.
But not traditional zombies. No one's rising from the dead. They're actually dying slowly, and that's what you're seeing.
Right. So I thought, like, the premise was fairly interesting. I just felt like the execution of the film overall, it just kind of felt it lacked something for me. I don't know. There was a lot of charm. The characters, especially, again, like I said, the two ladies are great characters. They have really good back and forth. Pretty good dialogue, too.
Hector's good.
Hector,
I like Hector.
Yeah, he's good. He's a strong character. But overall, I just felt like it was a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think that it could have become a great franchise. I think that Sam and Reggie could have become these iconic, like, girl hero characters, and they could have done a lot with them, just kicking ass in the apocalypse. But really, when the movie ends, not to spoil it too much, but everything's kind of wrapped up. It doesn't leave you with a great cliffhanger. No. And had they done that, I think they could have gone on and made more of these movies starring the same cast as you got in the original, because everyone was great, and it had good dialogue. It's pretty funny at times.
It was pretty funny. I want to talk about, speaking of dialogue, my favorite line in the whole film, and part of the best segment, in my opinion, is when the two girls go in the mall and are just trying on clothes and everything. Well, they kind of get jumped by this zombie gang, so to speak. And at one point, the leader of the gang has Samantha. He's holding her hostage. And so Reggie runs out with one of his gang members, trying to negotiate. Well, the leader ends up killing his own gang member, and she looks up at him on the balcony, and she's like, "You're crazy!" And he just looks down at her and goes, "I'm not crazy, I just don't give a fuck!"
I'm not crazy, I just don't give a fuck!
And, like, his delivery of the line was amazing.
It is, it's perfect. And I made a note when I was watching it. I said that guy was a better Joker than Jared Leto.
Well, you can't win them all, I guess. Well. But yeah, he seemed like he would have made a good Joker.
But the gang as a whole, probably the dorkiest gang I've ever seen in a movie.
Absolutely.
They all have, like, machine guns, and they can't fucking hit two girls running around,
Yeah, nothing.
Sam's
nothing
throwing shoes at them.
And they're just like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah. But that scene, like you said, that's really cool. You've got a karaoke version of Girls Just Want to Have Fun playing in the background. Good karaoke version.
So thrown off that it wasn't even the Cyndi Lauper version.
It's the song, but when you hear it, if you watch the movie, you'll know it's not Cyndi Lauper singing.
It's well done.
It's done in the style of
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper.
But that brings up the soundtrack, which is great in the film. I definitely, despite my feelings about the movie as a whole, I loved the music, for sure.
I think that this is a great movie that you could put on in the background while you're doing stuff, if for no other reason than the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And the few memorable lines that kind of give you a chuckle. But
right.
It's visually very cool just to look at, just to glance at your TV. A lot of the stuff that you see, a lot of the sets are very, very visually appealing.
Very 80s.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the best way to sum it up, and this is a line that you used, it's kind of... Night of the Comet is basically the Goosebumps version of Days of the Dead.
Yes, Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead, yeah.
That's a convention.
Yes, Days of the Dead is a convention.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead is a movie. Or Land of the Dead. I mean, there's elements of Land of the Dead in there too, with the underground science lab and whatever. So really, it's kind of like almost like the kiddie version of those two films. And
it is cool because you do get the... it's almost like there are two different stories happening. You've got what's going on in this underground bunker with the scientists who are trying to research what's happening and trying to come up with a cure for whatever people have been afflicted with, the survivors that are left. And then you've got the girls and Hector who are trying to survive on their own, and then they kind of cross paths, and then you get the climax of the movie. But I enjoyed it. I can understand why some people consider it a classic. I think if I would have seen it earlier in life, I would probably have a stronger connection to it.
I agree. I think so too. Because seeing it at 27, as I've said, I just was kind of like, well, all right, I get it, but not too into it. I think, Jason, you have a little bit of explaining to do, in my opinion.
I'm not going to be that harsh. I'd watch it again. And I wanted to give a shout out to the guy at the beginning holding the I Heart the Comet sign. I don't know if you saw that. But there's kind of a montage at the beginning of the movie where they're showing these people, they're so excited that this comet is coming by, and it's going to be a big viewing party for planet Earth. And they show all these people partying and having fun. There's one guy who's holding a sign that just says, I Heart the Comet. Yeah.
That's the humor of the movie right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's a fun little movie. If you go into it not expecting too much, you'll probably be pleased, in my opinion.
Watch it with your kids if you have kids.
Yeah. Especially if you have young girls.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and one more thing on that, the portrayal of the two female leads comes out of some research that the director of this movie did leading up to shooting and writing the film. And he went around asking some teenage girls basically how they would deal with a post-apocalyptic situation. And he was surprised to find out that not many of them really talked about being afraid or worrying about all the terrible things that could happen. They were thrilled about the idea of running into stores and trying on clothes that they wanted without any repercussions and just taking them. And not saying that girls are looking to just like loot and ransack department stores, but
that's what 80s teenagers wanted to do.
Yeah, and they were concerned with not having, like friends to hang out with and social gatherings to go to. But it's cool. It shows that the fear response isn't necessarily the first thing they jump to. It's like, oh, we can have a good time now. But it's going to suck because we won't have many people to share that time with.
Right.
So girls just want to have fun.
That's right. It's the whole theme of the film, basically.
And so do boys, I think. I think we all just want to have fun.
We have fun.
We have fun.
Thank you for tuning in this week for another episode of Super Scary. Next week we'll talk about another film.
Another one, yeah.
Potentially Ernest Scared Stupid, but we haven't nailed that down yet. So again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Bye-bye.